That's beautiful. How about go wait in your bed? Good girl. Yes, good girl. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Follow the Dogi. I am so excited because today we're going to talk about something that's really exciting and that I'm really passionate about. So today we're going to talk about the quads and how they help impact. Can you tell I'm excited? Today we're going to talk about the quads. We're going to talk about the impact they have on your wellness and how they can help you to avoid some really common diseases that we associate with old age. Look how freaking cute she is. she has cabbage up there where she keeps looking. Anyways, so the biggest thing that I want you to kind of keep in mind during today's class is that your quads are, well, two things, okay? So first, your quads are the biggest muscle group in your legs. They're massive, right? If we even just like look at our quads, right? This bulk of muscle, you can feel it and you can grip and you can't feel your femur through them. That's not something that you can say with most areas of your body. You feel your calf, you can feel your tibia, the bone right here. Your biceps are also another example where you can't really feel the femur, but we compare our biceps to our quads and there is no comparison. So we've got this massive, oh my goodness. So sorry. My alarm is going off reminding me to start this class that we're already doing. Okay. Back to what we were saying, right? Okay, so we've got this massive muscle group in our legs. And our skeletal muscle, this is something that I learned from Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, and Dr. Von der Wright also talks about this. But our skeletal muscles help to pump all of the blood in our body. So it's essentially like a second heart, helping to improve cardiovascular health. And it also helps, the more that your blood is pumping and the more circulation you have, the better circulation you have, then the more glucose is filtered out of your blood. So what this really boils down to is great mobility and great health in your quadriceps can help you to avoid a lot of cardiovascular and metabolic diseases. So if you have a family history of diabetes, heart disease, even Alzheimer's and dementia, these are things that are oftentimes linked to cardiovascular health, metabolic health, or both. So we're really doing like a twofer, right? Like we're going to feel better in our bodies. We're going to be capable of more movement. We're going to have stronger, more resilient knees. And we're going to be able to accomplish all of that as well as reducing our chances of getting some of these really, really rough cardiovascular and metabolic diseases. So how do we do that though? Now we know what the function of the quadriceps is, right? So, which I'm so glad that I was able to share with you as far as circulation goes. But let's talk about what the function of the muscles are as far as movement, right? Because that's how we harness the power of these muscles, is by moving them and by exercising them. So, and my job is to show you how you can do that by playing with your animal. So first, I want to make sure that we have the information we need in our brains settled while we're doing our movement. So in your quadriceps, you've got 4 muscles, like, a quadricep, but quad means 4. So you've got 4 muscles in your quadriceps. And that would include the rectus femoris, which we talked about when we talked about the hips. It's this big, huge, chunky flexor right here. And your rectus femoris is the only muscle in your quadriceps that connects from your hip all the way down to your tibia. Okay. Now, the other muscles, your vastus, I want to say it's called. Yes, I didn't want to say it incorrectly. We've got the vastus medialis, which is the bulk of muscle that lays over top of your femur here. We've got the vastus internus, which is underneath your rectus femoris, and we've got the vastus lateralis, which is on the outside. We call it the lateralis because we call the outside of your body the lateral side. Like when you move outward, you move laterally. And medial is close to your midline. So those are kind of like, if you're wanting to learn the terminology, those are easy ways to remember them. The main reason we're talking about that, though, is so that we can acknowledge and address the fact that these muscles, though they work together, there are a couple differences. For example, the rectus femoris, because it connects to the hip as well as the tibia, it's going to play a role in it pulling your leg upward as it tightens. And as it tightens, it's also going to straighten your knee. So we've got hip flexion and knee extension. And then when we talk about we'll call it the vastus series of muscles, the vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, and vastus internus. Those are only connected to the femur and the tibia. So they are crossing over the knee joint only. So when we're lifting our hip, we are not engaging the vastus complex. When we straighten our leg and we're doing lots of extension of the hip, or not the hip, sorry. When we're doing lots of extension of the knee, so we're taking it from a bent position, and as we straighten it, we lengthen the leg, then that is engaging our quads. Our quads are tightening to allow us to do that. So how does this apply to animal-assisted yoga? She's taking a little nappy, bro. Such a good girl. Anyway, so how does this apply to animal-assisted yoga? Or how can we utilize animal-assisted yoga to help us maintain mobility through our quadriceps and help us build strength and overall health in our quadriceps just by playing with our pets? We take these motions into consideration. So today we are going to look at booty and balance, the same game that we looked at last week when we were talking about the hamstrings. We're going to look at the same sequence, but we're going to move our attention from the hamstrings back here. We're going to move our attention to the opposite side of the leg so that we can look at what the quads are doing in the sequence. So is everyone ready? All right, let's go ahead and dig in. All right, Waffles, got some cabbage for you. First of all, you get a treat for being so good and waiting so patiently. Yeah, you get one more just because I can't resist your cute face. And then we're going to go ahead and make sure that we've got treats for our animal or whatever they find rewarding. So if you have a very play motivated dog, don't go for the treats right away. Okay, go for their toy and use engagement with that as your main motivator as well as source of resistance. So you'll see Waffles using her weight to balance, and we kind of call that like Doga tricks, whereas Doga tug is what I would recommend if you have a play motivated dog. When I'm explaining how to do a lot of these games, it's very, very challenging for me to do it while we play tug because Waffles is food motivated. So when she sees me talking to you and trying to get her to do stuff, she's very much like, where's my money? So now that we are loaded up on whatever our reinforcer is, whether that means loading up on treats or whether that means grabbing your dog's favorite toy, then we're going to go ahead and start the game. So if you are playing, good girl, that's exactly what I want you to do when I say game. Good girl. So cute. Okay. So if you are playing tug and using tug as your source of resistance as well as your key motivator, then you want to move through the sequence as I'm describing it, looking for the sensations that I describe and engaging the muscles that I instruct you to while you're playing tug with your animal. While you're doing that, please make sure that if your animal tugs with a little bit more gusto. You either drop the toy or go completely limp so that you're not straining any muscles. And, excuse me, and just kind of like, follow their lead as far as like muscle engagement. If they're being gentle, then you can really tighten up your muscles and pull with intention. And, but once they get to be like my turn, make sure you go limp. It also teaches your animal that give and take. It teaches them that part of the game is to give. All right, so in booty and balance, we start in a low lunge. Front hand or front foot between your hands. Inhale, push into the ground. We're going to exhale as we bring our hands here. We want to make sure that we get set up. Do you want to put pause? Good girl. And then right here, we're going to go ahead and add our animal's weight. Now notice both of our knees are bent here. So all of our quads are in an extended position. However, when we tuck our back toe and lift up, we're going to be asking for our quadriceps help in that back leg to extend that knee joint into a straight position. So tuck that back toe and to focus your attention on the sensations you feel in the quadriceps of your back leg as you rise up, straightening that leg as much as you can. Good girl. And then we'll go ahead and ask for our pet to release so that we can straighten the other leg, thereby engaging the quads. Note now we don't have them under a load of weight, so this is not going to have as big of an impact, and it's not going to be as strenuous as it was on our back quads when we stood up. This is more about making sure that we're building momentum. There are obviously other reasons for having this pyramid posture in the sequence, but when we're talking about our quadriceps, we're talking about in this posture, we are talking about maintaining that momentum so that when we switch legs, we're not working through any sort of stiffness. Now, Waffles under. Waffles under. Oh, ready? Under. Good girl. All the way. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. Yeah, good girl. Sit. Good girl. All right, so now we bring our hands down to the ground. We could start that whole sequence over here, bringing our knee down and then repeating, or we can go ahead and take it to the next level by stepping that front foot back in line with our hips into downward dog. And we can even take it further here. Notice that now both of our legs are extended. We did need to engage our quads on both sides in order to pull our legs straight into this position. And then we're going to go ahead and lengthen the quads on one side as we bring our knee to the chest and outward into fire hydrant pose. Bring it back into the chest and then extend all the way out. Straighten your leg as much as you can while your leg is in the air behind you. We're asking our quadriceps to not only hold this position while we're stretching the hamstrings, but we're also asking them to lift the weight of our leg. If you were to just switch legs, if you were to just hold a leg, like your leg, in your hands, you would realize exactly how heavy it is and exactly how much we're asking of our muscles in order to move them around. So when we have our leg working against gravity as we extend our knee, we're asking a lot from our quadriceps, which is great. We should have high expectations for our quadriceps. They're our second heart. All right, ready? Pause. Good girl. So now we just want to do the same thing on the other side. Tuck that back toe and bring your attention to your quadriceps on the back leg as you lift up, straightening that back leg. Good girl. Yes, off, around and under. Good girl. And straighten that front leg down. Good girl. Straighten that front leg too. Now from here, bring your hands down to the ground. You can bend your knee as much as you need to get down here. It's not, when we're moving through postures and I'm giving you these specific instructions, it's not because in order to get the benefits, you need to have your hands on the ground. The reason I'm telling you to bring your hands to the floor is because it's going to make the next step easier. So, and another thing to note, it's never beneficial to push your body past its limits. And when we're in animal-assisted yoga, no pain, no gain is not a thing. We relay a lot of information about our perceived safety to our animals. So we want to make sure that that our bodies feel like we are in a comfortable, safe space so that our animals pick up on that. And so bring your hands to the ground and go ahead and bring your back knee to the ground so that we can make sure that we're in the right position. You, like I said before, you can start the whole thing over right here, or we can take it to the next level by engaging those quads to straighten both legs as you lift your hips up and back into downward dog. Then we're going to lengthen the quads on the opposite side as we did before, bringing the knee to the chest and then out to the side. And then we're going to engage them as we hold our leg up behind us. It does not have to be like way high. We definitely don't want to like twist our hips away from being squared to the ground. As long as it's not touching the ground, your quads are still maintaining that flex position as well as supporting the weight of that leg. And then you can bring your foot down, downward dog, switch positions and repeat. Does anyone have any questions? All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Good girl. And I'm going to see if maybe Waffles wants to play. She's focused on chewing. But I'm going to see if maybe Waffles wants to play so that we can demonstrate how we do this with tug. When we start tugging, though, the reason I explained the mechanics of tug at the beginning of this video is because once we start tugging, I am not able to explain what's going on in my body because Waffles will lose interest and attention. So let's go ahead and do a little demonstration. If you have any questions, I hope you do, but if even if not, I hope that you enjoy the demonstration. But if you do have questions, please drop them in the comments so that I can answer them after we complete the demonstration, and we will be able to demonstrate any challenges that you're foreseeing at that point. All right, you ready? Play. Oh man. Oh man. Ready? Oh. Oh. Right here. Let me see that. Waffles, let's play. Let's play tug. We'll do more food later. Let's play tug. Okay, maybe we won't do that because she has zero interest in anything other than food right now. Because like I said, my dog's a very food-motivated dog. Once we start eating and doing food, she typically does not care about anything else. You didn't do anything impressive. This one's for me. Go to bed. Thank you. So sometimes we can get a tug demonstration in, and sometimes we can't, but we're always going to do the best we can for you guys. Don't steal. What did I ask you to do? She can see me in the camera. Good girl. Any final questions for today's class? Okay, had to check my mic because silly me, forgot to check it at the beginning of class, and I know that I did not. I didn't realize until the end of class yesterday that I didn't have it on. So um, I'm glad that you guys were able to hear me the whole time and that you don't need me to explain everything over again. But I'm also glad that I checked before I signed off. All right, so it doesn't look like we have any questions during the live class. If you are watching this replay and you have any questions at all, please drop them in the comments. I would love to help you work through any obstacles that you're facing or any confusions that arise. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope that you enjoyed our practice. If you did, please make sure that you like this video, share it with a friend, comment if you can, and of course, make sure you're subscribed because we've got a live class every week, and we can't wait to show you more next Monday. We will see you next week.